Today, I have my favorite person in the world, Carla Mathis, here with me. Morning, Carla.
Good morning, and you're my favorite person.
Thank you. So, Carla Mathis is actually a pioneer of the image industry and remains one of the most in-demand trainers around the world. Carla was trained by image and color pioneer Suzanne Cagill, who founded the color analysis concept. She's one of 29 certified image masters globally and a founding member of both the Association of Image Consultants International and Color Designers International, the two preeminent professional associations in the field. Carla is also revealed for the seminal text that she co-authored, The Triumph of Individual Style, which is now used to train students in design schools around the world. Carla is the co-founder and instructor of the Style Core Institute. And recently, Carla has further cemented her status as an image pioneer with her unique identity therapy, fusing the design principles of a person's form with their inherent personality and their emotional journey. So for any stylist that is listening today, Carla's insights, her lessons, her teachings are almost guaranteed to help you deliver styling excellence.
I've developed a way to get to the heart of the person, the client. Who is that client? What are her goals? Where is she going in her life? How is she designed to be? What are her blocks? Because if she's not looking lovely and wonderful, there are blocks. And it's up to us as image professionals to chip away and find those little ideas that will and help her see the beauty of who she was designed to be. Everyone was designed to be beautiful. And if everyone doesn't feel beautiful, something's missing. It's our job to help her find what was missing, to help her remember who she was designed to be, because as a child, she knew it might have been squashed. I don't care where, how, what, why, it was squashed. And she has to discover what that was. And that's up to us to do this. I don't know of any other method that can get to the heart of the client. It doesn't matter if you dress her nicely, she's got to feel beautiful from inside for it to spill over into her relationship. So it's profound, our work.
I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I've noticed that at that age, they are looking outward for validation. I've noticed recently I will be asked, Mummy, does my hair look okay? Am I pretty? Am I thin? Am I fat? All of these questions related to her outward appearance. And it's my job to reinforce positive beliefs of herself. So I know how to foster a good sense of self-worth. But the reality is, majority of clients that image consultants are serving now who are adults have not grown up with that. We didn't grow up in a digital age, and anything that was said about us was potentially negative. So there's a lot to unpack.
Yes. You have to pretty much start at the very beginning.
I want to take a step back before we get to that, because you mentioned something really important. You said that when someone discovers who they are and you help them uncover that and they love themselves again, spills over into their relationships. And I thought that's a really important point, because if we consider what the ultimate end goal for any human being is in life, one would assume it's to build and enjoy and experience great relationships, interpersonal relationships with a lover, with a friend, family, and so forth. So if we can assume then that the deeper, almost subconscious reason people come to an image professional is because they ultimately want to improve relationships, that must mean that your job is to analyze things from a technical external component with your method of line, direction, color, contrast, and so forth. But then to really do that individual therapy work to help them ultimately make these shifts that improve their relationships. Consequently, when you've done your job, it's not necessarily because your client is saying, oh, it was so easy to get dressed today, I just put a top and a skirt on and it saved me time. That's one benefit. But ultimately, what we're looking for is, I'm performing better at work. I'm feeling more confident in my relationships. I'm getting out there more. Their interpersonal relationships have improved.
Always. That is the result of this. There are two facets in the image work that we do. One is the outside. What's the body like? What's the silhouette? What's the line? What are the shapes? What accessories are going to relate to those shapes? What necklines? All on the outside. We need to know that. But more important, I think, is the identity work that I do before I go into the outside. And the identity work is seemingly simple, but it is absolutely profound. I have my clients bring images, not on their phone, not on their laptop. I want a beautiful image, whether it's a work of art, an image of a garden, a house, a castle, a cabin, I don't care, a waterfall, the beach. But that image has to be so visually beautiful. It takes your breath away. It's that kind of beauty. And those images tell me who they are. And that's what I now train, is how to use that as the foundation, the catalyst to find the precious qualities of this person. How must she dress on the outside so there is this quality that she expressed? I just was working with a woman in England who is heavy. The images that she sent were so delightful, so fanciful, so full of color and humor and a little craziness. And I went, oh my goodness, this is who this person is. So we talked through those images. And it's like, how can I get the ideas of with her body and the clothes, how can she accessorize and put her things together in a way that's going to be kind of funky, kind of fun, a little bit of tease, and very elegant. All those things at once.
I know a lot of stylists that have a challenge when it comes to getting the client to do the work. Like most of us human beings, we want results instantly, or we want stuff done with the least possible effort. And when it comes to really transforming a person from the inside out in this industry, the client has to do the work. And as we've discussed on other episodes before, most of the time, when you just ask a client, who are you? What do you want to feel? What do you want to say? We don't freaking know. We don't know. So what I love about your method is you've worked out what the key is, the actual tool to help them tap into a part of their subconscious, because if it was in their conscious mind, they'd be able to answer you immediately. You've somehow got to take them in through the subconscious. Now, you're not a psychologist, you're not trained as a hypnotherapist, but you've managed to work out or identify the commonality between what we think is beautiful and who we are inside, but then matching those two in a, let's say, an hour and a half consult. That is just serious work.
And I have not found anyone that doesn't want to. In fact, I have to limit what they love to 5 pictures, maybe 7 max. I say,
we're just dressing one of your personalities, love.
Yeah. Since one client came with a suitcase of things she loved.
Literal baggage that you've got to wade through. No thanks.
Yeah. So I went, okay, enough of that. 5 to 7 images. And then I have a list if they've forgotten or, they don't want to do it or whatever. What's your favorite flower and why? What's your favorite animal and why? What's your favorite bird and why? Is it a butterfly? Is it the color? Is it the airiness? Is the flutter? Whatever those adjectives that are given, you make note because those adjectives need to be in some way embodied in the way they present themselves in their clothes.
But you've got a background in English I know I've experienced this when I did your training. The extensive adjective list that you provided that we were able to read through and tick off the ones that resonated with us. Because most of us, if we think about the ways that we communicate day to day, we're using a much shorter collection of describing words. Some of us aren't even speaking in words, it's just emojis or memes. So, again, when a stylist has to sit down with a client and say, describe your personality, describe what you want to convey or what you want people to feel when they see you. Outside of fun, edgy, cool, kind, we don't really have any others in our head. So your background has helped also provide
Right.
stylists with a huge amount of alternatives.
It's a vocabulary. There are techniques in pulling out from the client. If the client says, what is about this beach scene that you love? The sand. Do you love the color of the sand or the texture of the sand or the color? Do you love the color of the ocean or the waves? What is it about that that resonates with you? So we keep drawing it out. Now, I have found that women who are in engineers, scientists, the very heady educational fields, it's harder for them to get down to the heart. People in music and theater and art, they have an easier time getting to their heart. So it takes longer with some, but it's worth the effort. It's like mining for the gold of who the person is.
I know that when anyone that owns their own business gets a new client, there is always that voice inside your head saying, "Oh my gosh, I hope they like me. Am I good enough? Do they think that I'm too expensive? Oh my gosh, now I'm nervous. Oh, she looks like she's in a bad mood. Does she hate me?" And there's this kind of inner monologue, which is natural. So when a stylist is working with a client for the first time, they've got to do two things: somehow hold space for the client whilst also not having their own internal panic attack. And so, what would your advice be to stylists to make sure they do this part well, that they ignore those thoughts and make sure they're there for the client to lead them effectively down into the depths that we need to mine?
Right. I have a couple of things I say. One is get over yourself. It's all about the client. It's not about you. A doctor might not be the greatest doctor in the world, but he helps you feel better. You're going to be happy. But you don't want to hear about his life, right? It's all about the client. It's not about you. What am I seeing? Who is this client? How can I listen, really listen to her when I ask the questions? So it's practicing listening, observing her, just let it flow.
Remembering that they are here for help. It's not about you. But don't let it stop you from trying, from starting.
That's put your foot in and get started. And if your client, as you just said, feels heard, feels honored, feels like you truly care, it almost doesn't matter if you give them the right colors or not. Give them their hair color, give them their eye color, give them their a couple skin tones. Don't worry about it.
And I'll tell you why that's right, because the opposite is true. You could give someone the most accurate color palette that's ever been done. And if you do not find a way to make that client feel seen and heard and believe in themselves, which is your ultimate goal, they will continue to feel unattractive, unseen, and not the real version of themselves.
That's correct. This might be going down a rabbit trail, but I had my colors done by Suzanne Cagle, and I worked with her off and on for 18 years and observed her. And then I started my own business in 1981. And I thought color was it. If I gave clients the right color, I lived in a small town. So I did a lot of people, and I'd see them walking around town in the right colors, but they still didn't look great. So then I thought, oh, well, maybe it's the style. So I gave style classes and silhouette and all this kind of thing. And they'd walk around and gosh, they still didn't look great. Look better. And then I thought, okay, no. Must be proportion. So I did more classes and got proportion and fit. Oh my gosh, that made such a huge difference. They really looked great in their clothes, but they were walking around with these nice outfits, and I still didn't know who they were. And that's when this deeper therapeutic side came in. I need to know who you are. I need to know what your heart is saying about who you are. I need to go from the inside out. And that's where these images and pictures help. And then you can accessorize, and then you could put the colors together in more unique ways. Then you can really create artfulness in the art of dress, but you can't do it just on that outside. In other words, when you have everything in alignment for you, your body, your personality, your mood, your purpose, your hair, your makeup, your shoes, your bag, then it just is like you are this pot of golden honey walking around, and people want to get to know you. It's the most amazing thing.
Beautiful. I wanted to say thank you again for allowing me to mine the gold that is your life, your brain, your approach, your artistry. It is always a pleasure hearing from you because you are mesmerizing in the way that you deliver image, full stop. You've elevated the profession, you've elevated the industry. It's now transgressed the boundary of just color, style, shape, fit, and it's permeated into so many more areas of life. And I think that's why people are getting more and more attracted to this industry. The volume of image professionals is increasing because you have shone a light on the true nature of what they're doing. So I thank you so much for your time. So anyone that's listening, if there are questions that you would like Carla to answer or topics you'd like her to expand on, you can email info@stylingadvisory.com.au, and we're going to put together a wish list and just keep coming at you.
I would love that. Thank you so much for this opportunity. You turn the spigot on, it's really hard for me to turn it off. So thank you, Sarah.